we are, of course, following the latest on this school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Police right now with an update. Let's take a listen in.
Pre-K through 6th graders.
Yeah, Diane, it's just a terrible thing. These things never leave you if you're a police officer or if you're a parent. Those things haunt you the rest of your life. So these are echoes of Sandy Hook here. It looks like the protocols are working very well here across the nation in law enforcement, but we're not stopping this from happening, and that's the real tragedy here. It's unusual. You have a Christian parochial school this happening to. That part is unusual. Detectives will now figure out the motives, go social media, and do all these things that we normally do. But our protocols are working, but it's still happening. That's the issue.
Bob, in an investigation like this, what's the first question these officers will be trying to answer?
Determine who the shooter is and what the motive was. That means going ID him or her, go back to the house, go what's going on in their lives, do the social media profile, all these things, and then find out where the gun came from and how they got that gun. So these things, everybody knows this, they're off and running to do that, but the big question is why, and will always be why.
Brad, ATF and the FBI are now responding. They're assisting the Metropolitan Police Department there in Nashville with this. What does that tell you about the gravity of this investigation, and how will they help?
So let's start with a matter of routine. The ATF and FBI tend to respond to all mass shootings now. It's common protocol. They work together. They plan these things together. ATF will immediately, as Bob mentioned, go to work on whatever weapons were used, where do they come from, how did they get them, so forth and so on. The FBI may be able to help quickly if there's any sort of delicate forensic thing to do or an interview to be done outside. I'll be somewhat surprised if the shooter's not connected to the school some way. I assume he's a little older. These are all younger kids, but we'll see how that plays out. But the FBI may also be able to help them with that.
And Robert, it feels all too often that we have to talk about stories like this. What do you make of the frequency with which this is happening, not only in public places, but now in a school, once again, a school full of young children?
Diane, is picking up. It's not slowing down. It keeps getting worse. They know they're going to be confronted at some point by police officers armed and ready to terminate this act, but they're still doing it. So the motive is overdriving common sense. We'll see if there's mental illness involved in here. But what was the motive? Was it this anti-religion? We don't know right now. It will be interesting to see exactly what this was, and if anybody knew this was going to happen. That's why I always look to these things. Did anybody have a clue as to what's going on in this person's life? Because we see it all the time. So it's picking up, and it's not going away, despite the best efforts of law enforcement.
And again, we are following this developing story. What we know right now is 3 students have been pronounced dead at a private Christian school in Nashville after a shooting there. Police say they engaged the shooter, and that shooter is now dead. That school serves grades from pre-K through 6th grade. We will continue to update you on this story throughout the day, and we will have continuing coverage on ABC News Live. I'm Diane Macedo. Have a good rest of the day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
And that was an ABC special news report. Again, very traumatizing news coming out of Nashville. We'll have much more on Action News at 12:30 after this break.
There have been Joes, Johns, Jaylens, and more Johns. Patricks and Peytons, Deons and DKs. There have been JJs, TJs, AB and CJs. There have been 80 years of drafts, thousands of names called.
Jerry Rice,
Eli Manning, Sauce Gardner.
But there's nothing like hearing yours.
It just gets your goosebumps going a little bit.
This night represents hope.
We started the business almost 20 years ago to provide quality, affordable dental care to the Philadelphia region. It's where I'm from. So for a limited time, we're offering free exams and 15% off all fillings. Insist on affordability. Insist on universal dentistry.
Relentless, whip smart, and utterly fearless. A champion for underserved communities. Helen Gim is running for mayor to make Philadelphia safer for all of our families. Gim got the city to start sending mental health first responders on some 911 calls.